Amanda Johnson, a dedicated nurse, leads a lonely life, haunted by dark secrets from a childhood marked by abuse. Everything seems unchanging until the night she is in a terrible car accident. During a near-death experience, Amanda encounters a mysterious figure who claims to be an angel, revealing secrets she has never shared with anyone, including a painful truth about her father, who died years ago. But what could this angel know that no one else knows? Back to life, Amanda is faced with a dilemma that challenges everything she believed. Could her father's forgiveness, even after his death, change the course of her life? And how can this supernatural experience transform the scars of the past into a new chance at redemption? Amanda's story is a deep dive into otherworldly mysteries and the struggle to find peace amid chaos. I'm Anthony Bennett and welcome to my Near-Death Experience channel. Let's listen to the story together. Amanda Johnson was a 35-year-old woman born and raised in the small town of Maplewood, Missouri. She worked as a nurse at a local hospital, where she was known for her competence and dedication. Amanda was a reserved, almost reclusive person who preferred the company of books and her cat, Oliver, to social interactions. From a young age, she had learned to be independent, a trait that became deeply rooted in her personality. Her coworkers saw her as a strong and trustworthy woman, but few knew the layers of pain and suffering she hid beneath her calm facade. Amanda's life was marked by a meticulous, almost predictable routine. She woke up early every morning, drank a cup of black coffee while reading the newspaper, and then headed to the hospital, where she spent most of the day caring for patients. At night, he returned to his modest home, where he spent his time watching old TV series or reading mystery novels. His weekends were equally lonely, filled with solitary walks along the city's trails or long hours spent in cafes, where he observed the people around him, trying, in vain, to find some connection with the outside world. Despite being a dedicated and competent professional, Amanda avoided deep emotional involvement with her colleagues and patients. She always kept a certain distance, an invisible shield that protected her from reliving the pain of the past. Amanda was a woman of few words, but her actions at work always spoke louder. Her colleagues admired her ability to remain calm in high-pressure situations, but Amanda knew this calm was just a facade. Deep down, she was a woman tormented by painful memories that could never be completely erased. Amanda's childhood was difficult, marked by abuse and neglect that left deep scars on her psyche. Her father, a strict and severe man, frequently mistreated Amanda and her mother. She never spoke about it to anyone, keeping the secret buried in a dark corner of her mind. These experiences shaped her view of the world and made her suspicious and closed off towards others. For Amanda, life was something to be endured, not enjoyed, and she rarely allowed herself to dream or desire anything other than what she already had. Amanda had no children and never married, which made her feel a certain loneliness, although she was used to it. She often wondered if her inability to form deep bonds with others was a direct result of her traumatic past. Despite this, she never sought help or tried to confront her inner demons. For her, pain was something that needed to be borne in silence, a burden she carried alone. This attitude of resignation accompanied her in all areas of her life, making her a woman of few expectations and even less hope. Oliver, her cat, was her only source of comfort. He seemed to notice when Amanda was particularly sad or tired, and at those times, he would curl up next to her, offering a quiet, comforting presence. Amanda often thought that Oliver was the only creature in the world who truly understood her. She never imagined anyone could see beyond her calm and understanding facade, until the day she crossed paths with a stranger who would change everything. That night, Amanda was about to experience something that defies logic and reason, something that would force her to confront not only her painful past, but also the invisible forces that shape the destiny of every human being. The encounter with the stranger would be the beginning of a journey that would lead her to question everything she always believed about the world and herself. What started as a simple ride would turn into an experience that would change her forever. On that cold autumn night, Amanda was driving home after a long shift at the hospital. The deserted roads of Maplewood were surrounded by oppressive gloom, and the tiredness accumulated in his muscles made his eyes feel heavy. As he approached a bend, his thoughts began to wander to painful childhood memories. It was then that, suddenly, an animal crossed the road in front of him. Instinctively, Amanda turned the steering wheel to avoid the impact, but the car lost control, skidded and collided violently against a tree. The impact was brutal, and Amanda's world went dark in an instant. When she opened her eyes, she felt strangely disconnected from her body. Looking down, she saw herself lying in the driver's seat, motionless and pale. Floating above herself, Amanda realized she was experiencing something she never thought possible. The silence around him was total, broken only by the distant sound of the wind through the trees. She felt an indescribable calm, a peace she had never experienced before. Suddenly, a soft, welcoming light began to approach, enveloping her in a comforting warmth. Amanda felt no fear, just a deep curiosity about what was happening. The light seemed to pulse with an energy that attracted her, and she gradually moved towards it, leaving the scene of the accident behind. The light intensified, and Amanda began to feel like she was being taken to a different place, a place where time and space didn't follow the rules of the physical world. As the light enveloped her, Amanda became aware of a presence beside her. He was a man with a serene and welcoming aura, who radiated wisdom beyond human understanding. He introduced himself to her in a way that didn't require words, sending a clear message that he was there to guide her. Amanda felt an immediate connection with him, as if she had known him for a long time. She felt he was unlike anyone she had ever encountered, someone with a special mission. "Where am I?" Amanda asked, her voice echoing in the surrounding void. "You are in a place between the world of the living and the afterlife," replied the figure in a soft, reassuring voice. "I am a messenger, sent to help you understand what is happening." Amanda felt a wave of confusion and fear, but the presence of the man at her side comforted her. He seemed to know everything about her, including the deepest secrets she had never shared with anyone. The man then revealed something that left her completely astonished. "I know your pain, Amanda," he said, his eyes boring into hers. "I know what you went through, what your father did to you. But I also know he's here, waiting to talk to you." Amanda froze. Her father had been dead for years, and she had no idea how he could be there. But the serene presence of the man at her side made her believe that, somehow, this was real. She felt a mixture of fear and expectation, not knowing what was about to happen. Amanda continued to float in that light, feeling lighter every moment, as if she was leaving all earthly pain and worries behind. The serene figure at her side guided her along a path that was not physical but spiritual, taking her to a space where time and distance did not exist in the conventional way. As they advanced, Amanda began to notice another presence, one that made her shudder with excitement and fear at the same time. It was his father, the figure who had caused so much suffering in his life. She didn't know what to expect. Amanda always imagined that, if she ever met her father again, it would be in a trial and accusation scenario. But there, in the presence of that divine light and angelic being, everything seemed different. Her father appeared before her, but not as the stern, frightening man she remembered. He was more serene, more human, with an expression of deep sadness and regret. "Amanda," he began, his voice full of emotion, "I'm sorry for everything I did to you." His words pierced Amanda's heart. She had waited so long to hear this, but now that the words were finally spoken, she felt confused and vulnerable. "Why now?" Amanda asked, trying to hold back the tears. "Why are you only now showing up to ask for my forgiveness?" Her father looked at her with a pained expression she had never seen before. "I was a broken man, Amanda. My own pains blinded me to the harm I was causing. But here, in this place, I can finally see everything clearly." Amanda felt a mixture of emotions so intense that she could barely breathe. Anger, sadness, pain and, surprisingly, a sense of relief began to mix within her. "You hurt me so much," she said, her voice cracking with emotion. "I've spent my whole life trying to get over what you did." His father nodded, acknowledging his guilt. "I know, and there's nothing I can say or do to erase what happened. But I'm here to ask for your forgiveness and to try to help you find peace." The angelic presence at Amanda's side remained silent, offering support but allowing father and daughter to have that moment of reconciliation. Amanda looked deeply into her father's eyes, trying to understand the man in front of her. He looked different, more fragile, more human. For the first time, Amanda realized that he was also a victim of his own circumstances, trapped in a cycle of pain that he didn't know how to break. "I want to forgive you," Amanda finally said, tears streaming down her face. "But I don't know how. The pain is too great." Her father looked at her with a mixture of hope and sadness. "I understand, and I don't expect you to forgive everything all at once. But I hope you can find it in your heart to find the path to peace so we can both move forward." Amanda felt something inside her begin to loosen, as if the weight she was carrying was finally beginning to lift. The healing process was just beginning, but for the first time, she felt it might be possible. After the intense conversation with her father, Amanda felt taken even deeper into the welcoming light that surrounded her. The presence of the angelic being continued to guide her as she processed everything that had just happened. "Forgiving is not a one-time act, Amanda," the angel's soft voice echoed in her mind. "It's a journey. A process that begins with accepting pain and deciding to no longer let it control your life." These words resonated deeply with Amanda, who began to understand that forgiveness was not just for her father, but also for herself. Amanda was transported to a series of scenes from her childhood, moments she had repressed and forgotten. She saw herself as a scared little girl, trying to understand why her father acted so cruelly. But this time, Amanda was not alone. The angel's presence was with her, offering comfort and protection as she revisited these painful memories. "You were just a child," the angel said, "and you were not to blame for what happened. You were not responsible for the pain your father carried." These words brought a new perspective to Amanda. She always blamed herself, in some way, for her father's behavior, believing that maybe if it had been different, he wouldn't have been so cruel. But now, she was beginning to see that it wasn't her fault. Amanda felt a surge of compassion for her younger self, wishing she could comfort her and protect her from the pain that was to come. The angel continued to guide her through these memories, helping her find new understanding and, eventually, acceptance. As Amanda continued her journey, she realized that forgiveness was not an act of forgetting, but of release. "Forgiving doesn't mean you need to forget what happened," the angel explained. "It means you choose not to let those memories define who you are. You choose freedom, peace, instead of continuing to carry the weight of hurt." Amanda felt those words deeply, like a truth she had always known but could never accept. For the first time, she began to believe that it might be possible to move forward without being constantly haunted by the past. Amanda's journey through the spiritual realm continued, increasingly enlightened by the understanding and grace she was receiving. She found herself in a vast, serene field where everything seemed to pulse with life and positive energy. There, Amanda was asked to stop aside your pains and sorrows, releasing them to the universe. She hesitated for a moment, feeling the weight of the pain she carried, but the angel at her side encouraged her. "You're ready, Amanda. Let go of this." With tears in her eyes, Amanda did just that. She visualized every painful memory, every resentment that kept her trapped in the past, and released them one by one. As he did so, he felt lighter, freer, as if he were leaving behind a burden he had carried all his life. The light around her intensified, filling her with a sense of peace and renewal. Amanda realized that she was changing, transforming into someone capable of living fully, without the constraints of the past. As Amanda continued her healing journey in the spiritual realm, a sense of completeness began to wash over her. She had confronted her greatest fears, faced her most painful memories, and begun the process of forgiveness, both for her father and for herself. However, she knew that her journey in that place was coming to an end. The presence of the angel at her side began to change, conveying to Amanda that it was time to return to her body, to the life that awaited her in the physical world. Amanda felt a lightness in her being as the light around her began to dim, turning into a soft, dim light. "You've made incredible progress, Amanda," the angel's voice echoed in her mind. "But your journey doesn't end here. There is so much more to be experienced and learned in the physical world. Now, it's time to go back and apply everything you've experienced." Amanda felt a mix of emotions, gratitude for the peace she had found and slight anxiety about what awaited her return to her life. With one last look at the light, Amanda began to feel gravity pulling her back into her body. The feeling was both familiar and strange, as if she were wearing an old outfit after so long. The angel remained by her side, gently guiding her as she made the transition. "Remember, Amanda," said the angel, "you are not alone. The strength and peace you found here are always with you. Use them to create the life you deserve." Amanda began to feel her physical body again, the pain of her injuries, the weight of her limbs, the pressure in her chest. With a deep sigh, she opened her eyes and found herself back in the wrecked car, still attached to the wreckage. The distant sound of sirens began to fill the air, indicating that help was on the way. But despite the physical pain, Amanda felt more alive than ever. There was a new clarity in her mind, a sense of purpose she had never experienced before. Paramedics arrived quickly, working to free Amanda from the wreckage. "She's conscious," shouted one of the rescuers, relieved. "Remain calm, ma'am, we're going to get you out of here." Amanda blinked, trying to adjust to the bright light of the headlights and the chaos around her. Despite the pain and confusion, she felt an inner peace that nothing could shake. The angel's words echoed in her mind, reminding her that her journey was just beginning, and that she had the strength to move forward. As she was taken to the ambulance, Amanda closed her eyes for a moment, reliving the last moments of her near-death experience. The images of her father, the angel, and the light that enveloped her were still fresh in her memory, like a vivid dream she would never forget. Amanda knew that what she had experienced was real and that it had changed her life forever. She was no longer the same person who had gotten into that car a few hours earlier. Something inside her had changed, something deep and essential. Amanda woke up in the hospital, her eyes blinking against the sterile white light of the room. All around him were machines monitoring his vital signs and the rhythmic sound of a heart monitor. She felt pain in various parts of her body, but she was alive. The experience she had gone through was still fresh in her mind, and she knew it wasn't just a dream or a hallucination. There was a palpable change within him, something that could not be undone. She felt a new determination grow in her heart. The medical team confirmed that Amanda had suffered multiple fractures, but was out of danger. "You were very lucky," said the doctor, with a gentle smile. "It was a serious accident, but you will recover." Amanda nodded, but her mind was far away. She was still processing the intensity of the experience she had lived through. The memories of the conversation with her father and the presence of the angel were so vivid that she could almost feel the light and peace that enveloped her. Amanda knew that something profound had changed within her. As the days went by, while recovering in the hospital, Amanda began to reflect on the impact of the experience on her life. She was no longer the woman she had been before the accident. There was a lightness in his heart, a feeling that he could finally leave the past behind. She thought a lot about the angel's words and the message of forgiveness her father had conveyed. Amanda realized she had the chance to start over, to live a fuller life free from the shadows of the past. During her recovery, Amanda received visits from coworkers and friends, who were relieved to see her in good condition. However, it was his mother's visit that really marked a turning point. When her mother entered the hospital room, there was a moment of hesitation between the two. Amanda felt a lump in her throat when she saw her, remembering the pain they had shared for so many years. But instead of avoiding the topic, Amanda decided to talk about her experience. "I saw Daddy," she said, her voice firm. "He asked for forgiveness." Amanda's mother was silent for a long moment, her eyes filling with tears. "I always knew he regretted it," she finally said, holding Amanda's hand. "He never got to say that in his lifetime, but I'm glad you heard it now." The conversation that followed was full of emotions and unspoken truths, but they both felt that something had changed. Amanda and her mother began to rebuild their relationship, now with an understanding and empathy that previously seemed impossible. As time passed and Amanda began to walk again, she felt a renewed connection to life. Things that once seemed mundane were now full of meaning. The sunlight streaming through the window, the sound of the birds chirping outside, the gentle touch of the breeze on her skin, it all brought a feeling of gratitude and joy that she had never experienced before. Amanda knew that life had given her a second chance, and she was determined to make the most of it. Upon returning home after her recovery, Amanda found herself at a turning point. The near-death experience wasn't something she could just ignore or forget. It was a call for profound change, and she was determined to honor this new opportunity to live. Her home, which once seemed like a haven of solitude, was now a place where Amanda could reflect on everything she had learned. She began making small changes to her routine, looking for ways to live more fully. One of the first things Amanda did was revive her passion for art. She had abandoned painting years before, but now felt an urgent need to express the emotions that were bubbling inside her. His canvases began to fill with vibrant colors and shapes that reflected his inner journey. Each brushstroke was a release, a way of processing and transforming the pain of the past into something beautiful and meaningful. Art became therapy for Amanda, helping her to better understand her feelings and connect with her new reality. In addition to rediscovering her passion for art, Amanda also began to get involved in community activities. She knew her experience could serve as an inspiration to others who were also struggling with their own demons. Amanda started attending support groups and participating in talks about resilience and overcoming trauma. She shared her story with other survivors, offering hope and encouragement. Seeing the positive impact he could have on the lives of others strengthened his determination to live a meaningful and purposeful life. Reconciliation with her mother continued to be an important part of Amanda's healing process. The two began to meet regularly, sharing memories and building new ones. Amanda realized that, despite all the difficulties, there was love between them, a love that had been suffocated by the weight of the past, but that could now blossom. These meetings brought a sense of peace and completeness that Amanda had never felt before. She knew that by healing her relationship with her mother, she was also healing herself. At work, Amanda also underwent a transformation. She returned to the hospital with a new perspective on life and death, and this affected the way she treated her patients. Amanda came to be seen as an even more compassionate and understanding figure, someone who truly understood the value of life. She began leading wellness initiatives for her colleagues, promoting the importance of taking care of mental and emotional health as much as physical health. Her experience gave her new authority and respect among her peers. Despite all these positive changes, Amanda knew there were still challenges to be faced. She still had moments of doubt and fear, but now she had the tools and support she needed to deal with them. Amanda began practicing meditation and mindfulness, learning to stay present in the moment and deal with her feelings without being dominated by them. These practices helped her maintain balance and strengthen her connection to the inner peace she had discovered during her near-death experience. Although Amanda had made great strides in her life after her near-death experience, she knew the healing journey was ongoing. The emotional scars of the past were still there, but now they were part of a larger story of overcoming and growing up. Amanda decided she needed to continue exploring her emotions and experiences to ensure she didn't fall back into old patterns of pain and isolation. Therapy continued to be a vital part of her life, helping her navigate the ups and downs of emotional healing. During her therapy sessions, Amanda began to explore more deeply the traumas of her childhood, not only in relation to her father, but also the impact these events had on her worldview and her relationships. She began to recognize patterns of behavior that had been shaped by years of suffering and worked to undo them. Healing is not linear, her therapist often reminded her. It's a journey with ups and downs, but every step forward is a victory. Amanda also realized that in order to truly move forward, she needed to forgive herself. She had spent years carrying guilt and shame for what had happened in her childhood, as if she was somehow responsible for the abuse she suffered. However, through therapy and self-reflection, Amanda began to understand that it was never her fault. She was a victim of circumstances beyond her control, and true liberation would come from self-forgiveness. This understanding brought a new level of peace and acceptance. In addition to internal work, Amanda also began exploring new ways to connect with the world around her. She became interested in spirituality and practices that helped cultivate a deeper connection with the universe. He read books about personal growth, meditation, and spirituality, looking for ways to integrate these lessons into his everyday life. These practices brought a new dimension to her healing journey, offering her a sense of purpose and connection that she had never felt before. Amanda's relationships with other people also continued to evolve. She learned to set healthy boundaries and communicate her needs clearly and assertively. This helped her build stronger, more authentic relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Amanda began to attract people into her life who shared her new perspective and who supported her on her healing journey. These new connections brought her joy and satisfaction, making her even more determined to live a full and meaningful life. Each day, Amanda became more aware of her inner strength and her ability to overcome adversity. She began to see her past not as an anchor that held her back, but as a platform from which she could launch herself into a brighter future. The near-death experience had been the catalyst for this transformation, but it was the constant work of healing and growth that was truly shaping his new life. Amanda knew there would still be challenges, but she was more confident than ever in her ability to face them. Amanda also found a new appreciation for the small joys in life. She began to value moments of tranquility, the beauty of nature and connection with the people around her. Every day was a new opportunity for growth and discovery, and Amanda was determined to make the most of it. She knew the healing journey was never ending, but now she saw it as something positive, a constant opportunity to learn, evolve, and live with more authenticity and purpose. As time passed, the changes in Amanda's life became even more evident. She was now a woman who had overcome the shadows of her past and emerged stronger and wiser. The lessons he learned during his near-death experience continued to guide his daily actions and decisions. Amanda had transformed into a more resilient person, able to face challenges with a new perspective and an inner strength she didn't know she possessed. At the hospital, Amanda became an inspirational figure to her colleagues and patients. Her story of overcoming and transformation was known to everyone, and many approached her seeking advice or simply to hear a word of encouragement. Amanda used her experience to initiate programs to support patients facing serious illnesses and challenging life situations. She wanted to ensure that no one felt alone in their struggles, as she had often felt in the past. Art continued to be a central part of Amanda's life. His paintings began to attract the attention of local galleries and artists, who were interested in the emotional and spiritual depth of his work. Amanda found art as a way to share her healing journey with the world, allowing others to see and feel what she had experienced. His works came to represent not only his own transformation, but also the hope that everyone can find light and peace, even in the darkest circumstances. Amanda's internal changes were also reflected in her appearance and behavior. She walked with more confidence, her eyes sparkled with new life, and her smile was more genuine and open. People around her noticed this transformation and felt inspired to pursue their own healing journeys. Amanda realized that her near-death experience had not only saved her life, but had also transformed her into someone capable of making a difference in the lives of others. Amanda also began to consider new possibilities for the future. She began thinking about how she could expand her impact, perhaps by writing a book about her journey or starting a blog to share her experiences and insights with a wider audience. She wanted her story to serve as a beacon of hope for those facing similar challenges, showing that it is possible to overcome pain and find a new purpose in life. Amanda's relationship with her mother also continued to blossom. They became closer than ever, sharing moments of laughter, tears, and deep conversations about the past and the future. Amanda felt that by healing her relationship with her mother, she was also healing an important part of herself. This reconciliation brought a sense of completeness and fulfillment that she had never experienced before. Amanda knew that this relationship was proof of the power of forgiveness and the importance of keeping your heart open to love and reconciliation. Finally, Amanda felt she had reached a point in her life where she was ready to share her love and compassion more broadly. She began considering the possibility of adopting a child or getting involved in mentoring programs for vulnerable youth. Amanda knew that by helping others, she was also healing herself and continuing to honor the second chance life had given her. Amanda's transformation was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the ability to find light even in the darkest moments. Amanda's near-death experience not only saved her life, but transformed her in ways she had never imagined. Now, years after the accident, Amanda was a completely different woman. She lived each day with a sense of gratitude and purpose that she had never experienced before. Her life, which once seemed limited and defined by the past, was now full of possibility and hope. Amanda had finally found the peace she had always sought, and it had changed everything. Amanda has become an active voice in the community, using her story to inspire and help others. She started giving talks about overcoming, forgiveness, and the importance of taking care of mental and emotional health. Her message resonated with many, and Amanda was invited to share her story at conferences and events across the country. She wrote a book detailing her journey, which quickly became a bestseller, touching the lives of thousands of readers. Amanda finally found a greater purpose in her life, something she knew would guide her for the rest of her days. In addition to her advocacy work and speaking engagements, Amanda continued to develop her art. Her paintings went on display in galleries across the country, and she began selling her works, donating part of the proceeds to organizations that supported victims of abuse and people recovering from trauma. Art wasn't just a passion for Amanda, it was a means of transformation and healing, both for herself and for others. Through her art, she was able to express the complexities of her journey and offer a glimmer of hope to those struggling with their own battles. In her personal life, Amanda felt a new connection with those around her. His relationship with his mother was stronger than ever, based on mutual understanding and unconditional love. They began traveling together, exploring the world and creating new memories. Amanda also reconnected with old friends and made new ones, building a support network that was critical to her happiness and well-being. She learned that connecting with others was essential to healing, and this became a central part of her new life. Amanda's journey also led her to consider romantic love in a way she never had before. For years, she had avoided relationships for fear of repeating past patterns. However, with her new perspective, Amanda was open to the possibility of finding someone she could share her life with. She began dating again, this time with an open heart and confidence in her ability to build a healthy, loving relationship. Amanda knew that no matter what happened, she had the inner strength to maintain her peace and happiness. As Amanda looked to the future, she felt a deep sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. She knew she had transformed her life in a way few people have the chance to do. The near-death experience was not just an isolated event, it was the catalyst for a transformation that led her to a new life, full of purpose, love, and compassion. Amanda was no longer afraid of the future. Instead, she hugged him, ready to face any challenge that came her way, safe in the knowledge that her inner strength and the peace she had found would guide her through any storm. Amanda's new life was proof that no matter how difficult the past, it is possible to find hope, healing in a new beginning. She had turned her pain into a source of strength, her loneliness into an opportunity for connection, and her fear into a motivation to live each day with courage and joy. Amanda knew her journey was still ongoing, but now, for the first time, she was eager to see where that journey would take her. She was at peace with herself, her past and the world around her, ready to live fully and without regrets.